My name is Lorenzo Guadagnini and I have a son called Angelo who is now 3 months old. I wanted to make this film to show some of the most important stages of development after having studied embryology. I also wanted to show the experience side of pregnancy as well in this film. Once an egg has been fertilised, it takes between 7 to 10 days to become implanted in the womb. At this point the egg has reached 100 cell stage and the womb has been primed ready to receive the egg. Obviously timing is very important during this point, so if none of those events have happened then it doesn't implant correctly and you're not classed as pregnant. Once implantation has been completed, you're now classed as pregnant. Heart development is one of the first systems that actually develop in the embryo. The heart starts beating between 21 and 22 days after fertilisation, and then after blood flow starts. The heartbeats at the beginning is quite irregular, and then once the blood flow actually gets going, it's a lot more regular, and then it will continue for the rest of your life. Movement of the embryo at first is very spontaneous and reflexive, which helps to promote neural and muscular development. The movements then become more coordinated, and at this point is when a woman starts to feel. It has been speculated that before 15 weeks of pregnancy, the baby has decided whether it's going to be right or left-handed. Senses develop later in pregnancy. For example, the baby regularly inhales amniotic fluid surrounding it and can actually taste it. However, it is not certain whether what the mother eats affects the flavours in this fluid.
I'm Sarah Watson. I have an 8-month-old baby called Scarlett.
Do you remember feeling your baby move for the first time?
I do remember feeling quite strange, especially when I could see it move like its arm or leg around my tummy, and it felt a bit like there was an alien in my body. But it was quite cool at the same time, like watching myself get bigger and bigger and bigger, and getting more and more excited that I was going to have a new baby.
What part of pregnancy do you find really amazing?
Well, I still can't really believe that a whole new person came out of my body. Sometimes I look at Scarlett and I think, wow, like I made that little baby. And it's really cool. It's really amazing in 9 months that every part of your body and your brain and even bits of your personality are formed already. It's like a miracle.
Do you remember anything about your first scans?
Yeah, my 12-week scan I remember going to, and it was very interesting to see my child. Like, it became real for me in my mind. I could see it on the screen moving around, and they pointed out the arm and the leg and the head, which was very cool. And I remember in the second scan, Scarlett waved to me. She went like that with her little hand, and I saw all of her fingers, and it was so cool. Like, and I had a third scan right towards the end too, where I saw her little chubby cheeks, and I knew that she was going to have this little chunky face, and so that was pretty cool too.
Hi, I'm Sophie, I'm 19, I have a little boy and he's 7 months old.
How did you feel when you first found out you were pregnant?
Scared. I was completely shocked, didn't know anything really. I was scared but happy at the same time. I cried a lot. A lot.
How did it feel when you had your first scan?
Strange, really strange, but I went with my partner. I went together, and when we first went it was really nice, but we're both thinking, realisation sort of sunk in that we're, oh God, we're mum and dad.
Did you want to find out the gender?
Yes.
Did you find out the gender?
Yeah, I was very impatient. I went to my 20-week scan and she said, do you want to know the sex? And I sort of went, yes. When I half turned to her and said, sorry, she's slightly impatient. So yes, we found out.
How did it feel when you first felt it moved?
I was at college and I sort of went, that just moved. That really just moved. And everyone just turned and looked at me and they'd say, what is she going on about? I wake up every morning now and he's just like this big bubbly smiley baby and even when he's ill and he's not very well, he's still got this big grin on his face. And put him and his dad next to each other and you so know they're father and son. They sleep exactly the same, feel like odd one out at home. They're just two peas in a pod.
During your pregnancy, you didn't have a particularly easy time.
No.
During your pregnancy. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the difficulties?
I did have quite a few difficulties in pregnancy. I actually found out at 31 weeks I had growth restriction on him, which meant that my placenta wasn't working correctly, and so he was actually being starved inside of me, and this was quite scary because it meant I had to go into Kettering Hospital every day to be monitored to check that he's okay, and in the end it got too bad that I had to be induced at 37 weeks, but I still had 6 weeks of going in every day and having scans each week. So Angelo has been quite a life change. You don't realise how much hard work a small baby is and how much time and attention they need. Although it has made me realise and appreciate life in itself, really.